Hello and welcome to another match reaction show on Football Talk Podcast. My name is Ozzy and I'm the host for today's show. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm emotionally drained after watching that game. After such a positive start in the first half, Liverpool were unable to extend the lead as the tie ended 1-0 to the Reds, but they lose 3-1 on aggregate. Congrats to Atalanta for progressing into the semi-finals of the Europa League. No qualms in terms of the outcome of the game. They were the worthy winners and pretty much did the job last week at Anfield. So let's do a match review of the game and discuss the key moments. I'll then proceed with the player ratings. It's also a calling show, guys. So if you'd like to come on and have your say, the floor is yours. So let's discuss the first half. So we started the game so positively and were awarded with a penalty in the opening minutes of the game as Atalanta's Ruggieri blocked Trent Alexander-Arnold's cross with his arm, handball given, and rightly so. Mohamed Salah steps up and smashes the ball low and hard into the back of the net to give Liverpool the lead. And at that stage, as a Liverpool fan, obviously, I'm thinking, hang on, could it be? Could we make a comeback and turn the tie around? Based on the first half, you would think so, as we played with more urgency, more intensity in our game. So the signs were there and they were very positive going into the second half. But unfortunately, like the previous few games, we've lacked that killer instinct in front of goal. Liverpool had a chance to extend the lead moments later as Luis Diaz was through on goal, but he was unable to lift the ball above the keeper, who ended up making the crucial block. Lovely flick from Cody Gakpo to find Luis Diaz in the first place. Atalanta almost equalised as Koopmeiners hits a low cross into the danger zone. Van Dijk makes a clearance that appeared to be going goal side, but Alisson managed to parry it away. So a bit of an edgy moment there. But just before half-time, Mohamed Salah has a glorious chance as he's through on goal and tries to lob the keeper who's off his line, but he makes a complete hash of it. Ends up hitting the shin. He ends up hitting the shot with his shin, and the ball goes completely off the mark. Disappointing effort for me, as he had plenty of time to execute the right shot and actually hit it with the side of his foot. So for me, a poor effort in the end. Koopmeiners manages to hit the ball into the back of the net, but the goal was ruled out for offside. But the big talking point of the game was actually an incident just before the halftime whistle where Atalanta centre-back Hien blatantly handballed a through ball as the last defender. I said in my watch-along that should have been a red card. Game City was not that close to Diaz, and for it to be regarded as, he's not exactly the last man and the defender alongside him could have blocked it. If Hien didn't handball it, I think Luis Diaz would have dribbled with the ball across the defender and not towards Game City. So I think we were robbed there, as the outcome could have been different against a 10-man Atalanta side. But hey, it's buts and maybes with regards to that situation. But in terms of the overall first half, a positive performance, and I thought we would continue to play with high intensity into the second half. But that's not, I'm afraid, how it panned out. Second half, a very flat game in the end that almost put me to sleep in my watch along. No real clear-cut chances for Liverpool, who were lethargic in their general play. A frustrating watch for me. Atlanta, for me, had the better chances in the second half. Emerson was close to equalising, but his shot lacked any power to trouble Alisson. Darwin Núñez, who came on as a late sub, has a header flicked towards the target, but the Atalanta keeper, Musso, catches the ball with ease. So that concludes the game, and Atalanta are through to the semi-finals. So, as I mentioned at the top of the show, congratulations to them into progressing to the next round. A huge blow for Liverpool. That's another competition I've been knocked out in. This was the one I really wanted to win for Klopp, especially as it was the missing piece of his jigsaw in terms of winning all the trophies as Liverpool manager. But hey, look, we move on. We put all our eggs in one basket as we continue in our pursuit of the league title. So yeah, so that's my overview of the game. But before we wrap up the show, let's do the player rating. So I'll share the graphics and let's go through the lineup together. So In terms of Alisson, I think he had a good game. He was solid in goal. Atalanta had quite a few chances where they were straight at Alisson, but, and I'm not just throwing shade there, I've seen our second goalkeeper, Kelleher, missave a lot of those type of shots where it's rolled under him on several occasions. So you can't say it's a routine save because our keeper has shown that he has, fluffed him up on occasions. But with regards to Alisson as our main keeper, a world-class keeper. And for me, yeah, kept it calm and composed at the back. I saw a stat afterwards where they said that he had the most touches on the pitch. He had 94 touches as a goalkeeper, which is outrageous. And he looked quite frustrated as a sweeper keeper, where he would come out of the goal. He was literally playing in a defensive line. That's how further up he was. And he was there was one point I felt like he was close to the halfway line. But he's not able to find any opening because the movement up top is static. No one's making runs for him. So he got frustrated and ended up just doing sideways passes, 5-10 yard passes to the nearest defender. So he was frustrated in terms of his input there, because obviously he was trying to be the extra man, try and fit some long balls across the pitch, but not making any right movement or right runs, it wasn't to be. So generally, I feel like he had a solid game. I never felt like we were going to concede today. That was because we had Alisson in between the sticks. So for me, he will get a solid ranking today. So he gets an 8 out of 10 for me. And he kept a clean sheet as well. I know we didn't win the tie, but we won the second leg. So clean sheet. So that's a positive. We haven't done that in quite a while. So got to take something out of this game, because, we're clutching right now. But clean sheet. So it's a positive going into our next fixtures. Now, in terms of Trent definitely had an impact in the game, in my opinion. You could just see the levels of passing, his different range and variation. It was there. And in the first half, he was really trying to open or unlock the Atalanta defense. And yeah, I feel like he had good moments in the game. Defensively was okay as well. He did a decent job. Got substituted in the second half. I was slightly concerned because I thought maybe he picked up a knock or something, because at that stage we had made 3 substitutions and he ended up being the 4th player we substituted for Joe Gomez. So I thought hopefully it's not an injury that's picked up, but I think it might have been more of a thing where he wanted to rest Trent for the upcoming games rather than burning him out, because he's just returned from injury. So that's not something we want to do at this stage of the season. So in terms of his performance, I thought he did really well. I thought he was a positive influence in the first half. So I'm going to give him a 7.5 out of 10. If I can type it in there. There we go. Konate, for me, started the game a bit edgy in terms of his general play. But as the game went on, I feel like he got a lot more comfortable on and off the ball. He still had some troubles with marking Skamaka at times, but he used his body very well in certain challenges and was more aggressive, and passing improved as well towards the latter stage of the game. So I thought he was decent today. So yeah, we didn't concede a goal, which is a positive. So our defenders did their job end of the day. So we can't really say too much in terms of the performance or the outcome of the game in the end. So for me, he gets a 7 out of 10. And likewise, I think Van Dijk had a solid performance as well. Nothing outstanding in terms of his contribution to the team. He had that one shot towards the later stage of the game where it was straight at the keeper. So from attacking point of view, didn't really have much input. But no, he was okay. His passing range was a bit limited for me. He didn't do it as frequently as I would have liked him to have done. But I think that might be more of a tactical approach due to the fact that Mohamed Salah wasn't really playing on the byline. He was drifting in infield quite a lot, playing in a deeper role, kind of like a number 10 position at times. So there's no point of pinging long balls when you've got no one on the byline. So that was more of a tactical approach rather than, Van Dijk's incapability of doing those type of passes. He's more than capable of doing so. So in terms of his ranking, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10 as well. Robertson for me had a solid game as well. Nothing outstanding, but for me, tried to be the creative spark from the left-hand side. Passing range was okay. There's that one moment where he got cooked by Zabacosta, where he hit over his head. So that must have been a bit embarrassing for him. But generally, he was okay. Tried to help out. There's one point where he was through the middle of the park as the main striker, and I was thinking, I hope it doesn't fall to him because yeah, in front of goal, he's not that guy, unfortunately. But no, a decent performance. Surprised that he was substituted at the end because he was the only creative outlet that we had at the time. And then Gakpo ended up playing left back at the end, which for me is a bizarre substitution because you had Tsimikas on the bench, so it could have been like for like. But hey, in terms of his performance, I'll give him a 7 out of 10 as well. McAllister actually was quite solid today. I was very impressed with his performance. His passing range wasn't to his highest level, but in terms of what he did as a number 6, he did his role very well. Made a lot of interceptions, more so than I would have imagined, to be fair. He really worked hard today. Tried to be the deep playmaker, tried to make things happen. In the first half, it worked. Second half, we all went a bit flat. So, yeah, I wouldn't put the blame on him in terms of that, oh, we weren't playing at a decent tempo in the second half. I feel like it was a reflection of the whole team. Maybe we just ran out of energy. We just didn't seem like as energetic as we were in the first half. So, yeah, disappointing in terms of the overall team performance. But in terms of his performance, I was very pleased with how he performed. So I'll give him an 8 out of 10. And is that a bit too high, actually? I'll give him 7.5. I think 8's a bit too high. Curtis Jones. Now, if you watched my live watch along, you probably thought I had an agenda against Curtis Jones, which I like to clear that in and say on the record, it's not the case. I actually do rate Curtis Jones and have done for a long time. But in the last 2-3 weeks, he's been frustrating to watch. And in this game, is no difference. In my match preview, I said it out loud. I didn't want him to start in this game. I would rather have seen Elliott play from the start. And there's a reason why I said it, because I thought he wasn't in good form. And unfortunately, that was the reflection of his performance today. He was woeful in possession, gave the ball away far too many times. Very slow on his half turn as well. Didn't really play with any energy or drive. I'm surprised he did he even get a substitute? I don't even think he got substituted. So he pretty much lasted the whole game, which for me just confuses me because I thought he was really poor. I thought he was one of our worst players on the pitch. So in terms of his rating, now call me harsh. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm giving him 4 out of 10. I thought he was poor today. Very, very disappointing in terms of what I saw from Curtis Jones. Szoboszlai, to be fair, was probably just slightly better than Jones. I don't know if Szoboszlai he's just not finding his range. He was very negative in his play today. For me, he seems to be lacking confidence, not even form, confidence right now, because there was plenty of times, especially in the first half, where Alisson would thread the ball from a goal kick through the middle, and normally it would be Szoboszlai who gets on the end of it. And normally with a creative midfielder or a midfielder with some skill, they control the ball on the half turn, skip past whoever's behind them, and then continue to pass on the ball forward. What Szoboszlai would do is literally panic, control it, pass it back, or just pass it back to the goalkeeper with his first touch. So for me, that was quite disappointing to see in terms of how he played. He had a very negative approach in his overall game. And yeah, in terms of his passing and his possession, I feel like he was quite wasteful as well. So not the best of games for me, but at the same time, I do feel like he did add an attacking threat from midfield, making lots of surging runs. So for me, had moments where he was positive, but I feel like due to lacking confidence, he was making the wrong passes, or he wasn't brave enough to make that forward pass. So frustrating for me to see, because I know what he's capable as a player. So in this game, I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. Now, in terms of Mohamed Salah, got the goal in the end and looked very, very positive in that first half. That shot that he had towards the end of the first half for me was a huge miss, because it wasn't like a snapshot where, you end up hitting different parts of your leg and then, it goes wayward at times. He was through on goal. The ball was bouncing. The first time you execute a ball like that, it hits your foot. You place it with your foot, and somehow he hit it with his shin. So for me, I don't understand that. I think that was a poor effort altogether, and I think that was a huge miss, because I feel like that could have changed the outcome of the game, because it would have been 2-0 up at halftime. The mood, the attitude, the way of thinking, the way we would have approached the game tactically in the second half would have been completely different. So, not putting the whole blame on him, but for me, that was a disappointing effort from him. So, in terms of his rating, he got the goal, so I have to boost it up a little bit, unfortunately. So he gets a 7 out of 10 for me. I'm thinking maybe it's even a 6.5 now. Do you know what? Do a 6.5. Because that miss was quite poor. Now, in terms of Luis Diaz, he had a decent game as well. On the front foot, definitely attacking from the left side, cutting quite well as well on a number of occasions. Had that chance himself where Gakpo made that lovely flick through the defender. And then even that finish was a little bit harder because he had a very small window to try and lift the ball up. But because he managed to get a touch, I feel like he could have done better there. But that was more of a... I mean, the Salah one was the worst miss, if I'm being honest. That was more... I wouldn't quite label it as a half chance, but I feel like it was still a chance. But it was just a difficult one to complete or execute, in my opinion. So he had a good... I say, performance. I have to say out loud that I was very, very surprised with Klopp's substitutions. So when I was doing the watch along, I said at halftime that the first change that needs to be made is Curtis Jones off and bring on Diogo Jota. So we're playing a 4-2-4 formation. But Klopp just ignored that. Not that he listens to me, but as in that would normally be his approach when we need to get goals. But he didn't have that approach today. So he ended up making a triple substitution where he took off Diaz, who was our main outlet in terms of adding pace and width to the team. So that got removed. You had Mohamed Salah, who attacks the byline on the right-hand side, but was a playmaker, I'd say, in the middle of the park, because he drifted in that number 10 role quite a bit. I know he's not traditional number 10, but he was playing on the edge of the box. So we missed sort of like the link between midfield and attack with him being removed. And Szoboszlai as well, where even though he didn't have the best of games, but he was still trying to make runs from deep. So that would have caused confusion in terms of the Atalanta lineup, because players would have to be out of position to keep him occupied. And that definitely opened certain gaps when we were attacking. So when he left the pitch, I feel like Atalanta knew exactly what to do in terms of stepping up against us and handling our midfield with ease. So those three substitutions were really surprising for me. The Gomez and the Trent Alexander one, I thought maybe there was an injury, but I think it was just a like-for-like substitution. And then taking off Robertson, bringing on Danz, and playing Gakpo at left back was another bizarre call for me. So Klopp substitutions for me were wrong, in my opinion. I think Jones should have been off because he was losing the ball on far too many occasions, and I thought he was very frustrating to the end. He managed to last the whole game. So yeah, and sorry, I'm going a bit off track there. Back to Diaz's performance today. I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. I think he should have played longer, but Klopp had other ideas. And in terms of Gakpo, I thought he was, one of our bright sparks in the team. He was pretty much everywhere. Started the game in the middle, and then went on to the left, and then went into midfield. Played on the right as well at times. Ended the game at left back. So yeah, poor guy ended up playing jack of all trades in the end. But I thought he was very good today. And I was so pleased that he got the start because for me, number one, it was fully deserved. And number two, for this game, I feel like it suited his skill set. And we looked like such a balanced attack in the first half. And then the second half, I just feel like we just lacked the energy. We just ran out of steam. And probably drifting him out wide as well didn't help. And then have Diaz through the middle. So too much changes up top didn't help. But in terms of his performance, I was very impressed with him. So for me, he gets an 8 out of 10. And as you can see from my ratings, he gets the highest score today. So he is my man of the match, not him, not Salah, Cody Gakpo. So drop a comment, guys. Let me know what you think. Who is your man of the match for today? Not that it really matters because we're out of the Europa League, but just on the basis of doing player ratings, who would be your man of the match? And yeah, let me know what you think of my rating. Do you just disagree or do you agree? Drop a comment. Love to hear from you guys. So before we wrap up the show, I will bring on the subs and rate them as well. So let's bring on, it was Jota coming on for Diaz. I'll place the players in the correct positions very shortly. Then I've got Nunes on for Salah. So Nunes comes on. And then we have Harvey Elliott on for Szoboszlai. Gomez for Trent. And then we had the final sub. Dan's. Is Dan's even in this thing? Let me have a look. Dan's. Nah, he's not here. So for argument's sake, I'll just leave Robertson there because I can't really add Dan. And to be fair, Dan only played for a few minutes. So what was his score in the end? I think I gave him a 7, didn't I? So yeah. Okay. Now let's start with Jota. I don't know what's going on, Jota, and I don't want to be unfair on him because he just returned from injury, but he just doesn't look right to me. Just seems off the pace. Every touch he took was the wrong touch today. His passing, not that he did that many passes, but yeah, I think everything that he did was just woeful. This is why I was surprised with Klopp's substitution because he played him out wide. I don't want to see Jota out wide on the right hand side. That is not his game. He doesn't take on the fullbacks in that manner. It was just a wrong place to put him there. Wrong substitution. That's why I thought he would have gone for a 4-2-4 where maybe you could put Elliott on the right hand side and Jota, Nunes through the middle, and then you've got Gakpo on the left. That shape would have made more sense to me. And then you have McAllister and Jones as a double pivot, even though I didn't want Jones to stay on the pitch, but it would have added balance to the team. That would have been the right approach because what do we have to lose? We're 1-0 up. We've got about half an hour of time remaining. Should have gone all guns blazing with that. So I'm more disappointed that we didn't go for it in the end because even if we'd go for it, even if we went for it and then we lost, I wouldn't have cared. At least we gave it our all. But to just produce one good half performance and then have a terrible second half and not really show anything for that second half is disappointing for me. So, but back to Jota, yeah, he was poor today. I'm not going to sugarcoat any further than that. So for me, he gets a 4 out of 10. And Nunes, likewise, I don't think he hardly touched the ball. He had that header towards the later stage of the game. It felt like a back pass more than an actual shot on goal. So I'll give him a 4 as well. I might even be nice. I feel like they should probably deserve 4, to be fair. In fact, let's drop them down. I'll give them the 3 each. I think they were both terrible today. Elliott, yeah, did his thing. It didn't have too much time to have too much of an influence. I know he came on around the hour mark as well. But at that stage, we just lacked any drive or I don't know. We were really flat afterwards. So it was a big task or a big ask for him to be the source of energy in our midfield because yeah, that's not fair on one player, and the other guys were just lethargic throughout the whole time. So for me, he gets a 5 out of 10. Gomez came on. I'll be brutally honest with you guys. I don't remember him doing much. So I'm just going to give him an average rating of 5. Don't feel like he took that many touches. And Dan's I can't really rate anyway, but I would have given him a 5 as well. So yeah, that's my average ratings, or that's my ratings for the players. Drop a comment, guys. Let me know what you think, whether you're watching live or you're watching on the replay. Love to hear from you guys regardless. So before we wrap up, just got a few comments here from Jay Kismet. It says, bless bro, you never walk along. Bless up, bro. I hope you're well, Jay Kismet. And then Daz is returning the message there as well. And just having a little chat there. And then Daz says, Mo, for me, should have had more shots. Yeah, he should have had more shots indeed. But yeah, it is what it is. But, frustrating end to the evening. But that's how it goes sometimes. So that's the end of the show. Thank you to everyone for tuning in. Thank you to Daz and Jay Kismet for your comment. Appreciate your participation as always, guys. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. My night's not over, so I'll be doing one more show before the evening ends. It will be taking place, let's say, at 11:40. So I'll get myself a drink, have a little snack, and then I'll be back on at 11:40 UK time. So in just under half an hour to do the match preview of Fulham versus Liverpool. You know, Klopp said it after the match in his post interview that we've got to think about the league now. You know, this is done now, onwards and upwards. So let's focus on the next game. Let's try and find some form. We don't have too much time either. It's Thursday. We play on Sunday, so one day rest and then one day of training, and then we're back playing match day again. So yeah, all our eggs in one basket right now. Try and do the best we can for the league. I'm not going to say we're going to win. I'm not the league. I'm not saying any of those things now. We got to take it a game at a time, pick up some form, and try and find those shooting boots. Because right now, no one has them. So we've got a lot of work to do. But yes, join me shortly for that match preview. And yeah, that's the end of the show, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. Take care, stay safe, and I hope to see you all very, very soon. Goodbye.